I feel helpless, worthless, and I know I'm gonna die.
We can't proceed. I'm gonna have to open her up right now.
I feel like I'm in jail.
Imagine starting each day with a burden so heavy it dictates every move you make. Tara Taylor's struggle with weight was just that, a relentless battle deeply rooted in her past, shaped by emotional and psychological turmoil. Her journey on the show was not just about shedding pounds, but unraveling the complex layers of trauma and unhealthy habits that had woven themselves into her existence. Let's dive into Tara's story, full of twists, turns, and some personal insights.
Things in my life that's hard. Because of my size, I don't do much of anything. I don't move much. Basically, my day is in the bed, stuck. It's not easy. This is what I am ashamed of.
Starting from her home in Lafayette, Louisiana, Tara's life was far from easy. With 2 children and a history of emotional eating, her weight began piling on from a young age. Food became her solace, a silent friend who never judged but also never helped her escape the pain. Can you imagine relying on something so heavily, only to realize it's dragging you down? As Tara's eating habits grew worse, it became clear that intervention was needed, something drastic to break the vicious cycle.
Addiction. My food is an addiction. This is my hiding stash. It's when I feel down, I know where it's at, so I can grab me something and got a quick fix. Food doesn't judge me. Whether I'm happy or sad or angry or upset or whatever, I always have food.
Her family, although loving, struggled to provide the support she needed. Tara's mother and sister tried their best, but often found themselves enabling her more than helping. It's a tricky balance, isn't it? Sometimes, despite their best intentions, our loved ones don't know how to help effectively. This part of Tara's story is a stark reminder that a well-informed support system is crucial. Seeing her family's challenges hits home. Even the strongest bonds can waver when faced with such immense obstacles.
Helping her to stay like she is, because it's hard to serve her and tell her that's all you can have. I always end up giving to her. She's my child. How can you tell a child, no, you can't have this food?
I know I can't keep going on like this. Now I have 2 kids who need me to take care of them.
When Tara decided to seek help from Dr. Now, she was at her lowest point. She wanted to be a better mother and live a healthier life, but she was utterly lost on how to achieve it. Meeting Dr. Now was a blend of hope and a harsh dose of reality. Starting at over 600 pounds, she had a mountain to climb. Imagine being told your weight is a ticking time bomb. Dr. Now didn't sugarcoat it. She needed to lose weight immediately to qualify for surgery. His 1,200-calorie diet plan was tough but necessary, a complete overhaul of her eating habits.
I understand that she eats 6 times a day. So if she eats 6 times a day after surgery, I can tell you she's not going to lose weight.
No.
We need to make those transition now to have some weight loss and be in better shape for surgery.
Okay.
Before we move ahead with the surgery, she needs to lose 20 pounds over next month. Tara's condition is critical. She needed drastic change now. I think
Tara's initial days on the diet were grueling. The attachment she had to food as comfort was hard to break, leading to emotional breakdowns. I can't help but feel for her here. Change is never easy, especially when it involves something as ingrained as eating habits. Despite the struggle, watching Tara take those first steps was nothing short of inspiring. It's a testament to the human spirit's resilience, don't you think?
This past month I've been trying to do what the doctor said. But it's really, really hard to change your eating habits.
Listen.
And cutting your daily meals by half is hard.
See all this empty space? That's a shame.
especially when your whole life you've just known to go to food to make you happy.
Continue to follow the doctor's rules. You know, what he says, what you have to eat.
Her first follow-up visit showed some progress, but she was clearly struggling. This is where the story gets fascinating. Despite the hardships, Tara's efforts started to pay off. She lost enough weight to qualify for surgery. A significant milestone. This achievement wasn't just about the numbers on the scale, it was about her perseverance and the effectiveness of Dr. Now's program. The surgery was another massive hurdle, both physically and emotionally. But Tara faced it head on.
I don't think you can go much longer like this.
Yes, sir.
So we need to make adjustment in your eating. We're gonna achieve that with gastric bypass surgery. I'm gonna have to schedule you for surgery immediately. If I send Tara back home now, I'm afraid that this is gonna be the last time I'm gonna see Tara.
Post-surgery, the real challenge began. Maintaining her new lifestyle. Tara had to stick to a disciplined diet and increase her activity levels. This part of her journey was as critical as the surgery itself. Can you imagine making such drastic changes and sticking to them? Her progress was slow but steady, and by the end of the episode, Tara had lost over 250 pounds. Her transformation was more than physical. It was a reclaiming of her life from the clutches of obesity.
The 10 to 320, you're almost a half a weight that you used to be, huh?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You turned my life around. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm proud of Tara, how far she has come, and she's doing great.
Let's go.
A year ago, I was at the lowest point in my life. I will never forget who that 600-pound person was.
Lupe's story started in Redlands, California. At 39, she weighed in at a staggering 642 pounds and had been bedridden for over a decade. You can imagine the kind of emotional and physical toll this takes on a person. Her battle with obesity began in childhood and worsened after a series of traumatic events. Food became her solace in the face of severe emotional and physical abuse. It's a sad reality that many people turn to food for comfort during tough times. I mean, who hasn't sought out a tub of ice cream after a rough day, right?
Everything I do is hard and it's a struggle. I need a rag for my face. Things are so hard for me. I've lost motivation to do anything for myself. And my body's starting to break down. My weight is taking a toll on my heart, my kidneys, my liver, my legs, everything. I'm in pain and I feel helpless, worthless.
The blood glucose is 423.
Dang, 423.
But in Lupe's case, these eating habits were downright destructive. She consumed high-calorie, high-fat foods in massive quantities. Can you imagine feeling like a prisoner in your body every day? It's a nightmare. And her family dynamics didn't help much either. Her husband, Gilbert Donovan, shifted from partner to caretaker, a role that strained their relationship. He loved Lupe, but ended up enabling her unhealthy eating habits, probably without even realizing it. You see this often in these cases. Love mixed with helplessness and a lack of know-how.
My husband, Gilbert, is my caretaker. He can't have a full-time job because he takes care of me all the time.
I feel helpless. It's just me taking care of her more than us having a marriage. You know, I guess you could say intimacy is impossible. This is way harder than I thought it was gonna be.
So when Lupe decided to visit Dr. Now in Houston, it was a desperate move to save her life. At 642 pounds, she knew she was on the brink of disaster. The car ride to Houston was so taxing that she had to be rushed to the hospital immediately upon arrival. Dr. Now discovered her heart was failing. She was that close to death. Just think about that for a second. If that car ride had been a few hours longer, we might not be talking about Lupe today.
So we're going to try to determine what's going on with her. It's clear that Lupe is in very bad state. She's short of breath, she cannot walk, she cannot stand, she cannot move, she cannot breathe. But at her weight, any number of things could be creating a serious medical issue for her. And if we don't find it fast, it may be too late to save her.
Dr. Now's advice was straightforward but brutal. Lupe had to overhaul her eating habits and lose a significant amount of weight before he would even consider bariatric surgery. He prescribed a strict 1,000-calorie diet, lean proteins, vegetables, and absolutely no junk food. Sounds simple, right? But for someone like Lupe, it was an enormous challenge. Imagine being asked to change your entire way of life overnight. I can barely manage to switch my morning coffee routine.
What seems to be your biggest challenge with your eating habit?
I'm an emotional eater. I get bad anxiety. And then I'll eat food until I get sick.
Who brings you the food?
My husband and my family.
They don't realize that they are killing you?
I know.
No?
I think they do it because they love me.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can get you in bed. We got a very pathological situation here.
Lupe's progress was painfully slow at first. During her second visit to Dr. Now, she had actually gained 84 pounds instead of losing. It was a heartbreaking and frustrating moment. So, Dr. Now denied her the weight loss surgery. Dr. Now was firm but compassionate, reminding her that the path to weight loss is rarely straightforward. There are highs and lows, and the mental struggle can be just as tough as the physical one. It's a reminder that these journeys are marathons, not sprints.
It's not a game. One small thing can push you over the edge right now, and you won't be able to make it. If you want to change the situation, the whole family is going to have to cooperate. You understand?
It's hard eating healthy, but I know I have to do it with her. I don't know how to eat healthy. I don't know how to make healthy. So this is something I gotta learn how to cook.
I know it's not going to be easy.
Lupe eventually recovered and continued to lose weight. She dropped an astounding 300 pounds, though she still feared walking. The episode ended with Dr. Now encouraging her to get out of bed and Lupe promising to stick to her weight loss plan and exercises. Reflecting on her story, it's clear that this journey is about so much more than just losing pounds. It's about reclaiming your life.
I couldn't stand on that scale without balance.
You sure the issue is not you don't want to get on a scale?
You've seen that since I've gotten here, when I first got here to when I was in the hospital, I've lost a lot of weight. I was walking in the hospital, then I got sick, I was good, I was not. So I'm barely starting to get out of bed again, that's what I'm saying.
You're not walking at home?
My house is nothing but ceramic tile, it's very slippery in there. I'm not getting therapy, I'm not getting anything, it's just...
Have you ever wondered what it's like to turn your life around completely? Kirsten Perez's journey on the show is one of those stories that hits you right in the feels. It's packed with struggle, transformation, and resilience, all presented with a raw honesty that makes it impossible to look away. Like many participants on the show, Kirsten didn't wake up one day weighing over 600 pounds. Her weight gain was a slow, painful process fueled by emotional turmoil, unhealthy habits, and a lack of proper support.
I'm coming. Just a minute. I'm coming, honey. It's all right. You can't see what?
The bench, Mom!
Okay, you're fine. It's right under you.
I need over!
Over which way? This way. Sit down. You're fine. You're fine. You're good now. Just take a breath.
Thinking back to her childhood, Kirsten's story is heart-wrenching. Childhood is supposed to be a time of joy and discovery, but for Kirsten, it was marred by trauma. Growing up in a chaotic environment, she sought comfort in food. As a teenager, she gang raped and turned to overeating as a coping mechanism. By adulthood, food had become her main source of solace, and she found herself weighing a staggering 612 pounds, barely able to move. Fearing she might become bedridden, Kirsten made the brave decision to seek help from Dr. Now, a name synonymous with tough love in the world of weight loss.
We were drinking, and it's the first time I ever used cocaine. I don't really remember a lot, but multiple guys took turns. And after that's when I started not caring about a lot of stuff. And I kept eating, and maybe I ate. I was hoping to just keep people away from me. I don't know. I got deeper into drugs as well. And I started living with drug dealers.
Family dynamics play a huge role in anyone's weight loss journey, and Kirsten's family was no exception. They loved her, sure, But their attempts to comfort her often meant enabling her unhealthy habits. Her mother, her main caregiver, helped with personal tasks that Kirsten couldn't manage due to her size. It's a grim reminder of how super morbid obesity can strip away one's dignity and independence. Can you imagine how humiliating and degrading that must feel?
So my parents took me in because I had nowhere to go and I could not take care of myself. I've been living with my parents for 8 months now, with my daughter and her boyfriend, and me and my 14-year-old son have to share a bedroom. The whole time I've been here, I've been completely clean.
Driven by sheer desperation, Kirsten's visit to Dr. Now was her last hope. Dr. Now's advice was simple but daunting. Kirsten needed to lose a significant amount of weight on her own before surgery was an option. This meant a strict diet and drastically reducing her calorie intake. Imagine being told to give up the very thing that's been your comfort for so long. It's like asking someone to cut off their lifeline. But Kirsten, fueled by her will to live, took on the challenge.
Her stamina is evidence that her body is in very bad shape. If she doesn't lose weight, I don't think she's gonna last too long. She's at the point that her body is ready to give up. You know, being 600 pounds and not being very active, I don't know if you can live 5 years. Because if you get pneumonia or you get a cold, you're not gonna pull through that.
That's what I'm scared of the most.
She moved to Houston to be closer to Dr. Now and start her weight loss journey. But the road was far from smooth. After her bariatric surgery, Kirsten and her son relocated to Washington because of his discomfort in Houston and behavioral issues. Relocating could have thrown her off track, but with the help of her therapist, she started seeing life in a more positive light. It's amazing how mental health support can make such a difference in physical health journeys.
These are pretty heavy.
This is scary but exciting. I've never lived anywhere but Washington. But I'm so thankful that my family's helping me to do this, so I have this chance. I'm too heavy for a normal bed, so my dad's building one out of cinder blocks for me. I have a bed, but nobody else does. We won't have any furniture.
And Janette, at just 30 years old and weighing nearly 680 pounds, turned to the show for help. Imagine living in such a miserable condition since childhood, battling weight issues with no support. Food was her comfort, especially during emotional times, leading to uncontrollable binge eating. Can you imagine being in a cycle where food is both a friend and an enemy? Stick around to see how her story unfolds.
It's excruciatingly painful. So I need help from my girlfriend just to get to my feet. And just doing that is becoming more and more difficult.
Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Ann and Janette's family dynamics were no walk in the park either. Her relationship with her family was strained, but her girlfriend, Erica, was her rock. Erica's unwavering support was crucial. Love can be a powerful motivator and a safety net, and Erica was both for Ann Janette. However, relying on Erica for everything, from standing up to basic chores, made Ann Janette realize the urgent need for change. It's fascinating how love can push us to face our deepest fears and take action.
Caretaker, like I'm a child. I just feel like, what did I get myself into that I have to have somebody else shower me? So I hate it. And I hate my life. I hate it for myself, and I hate it for Erica too.
So, Ann Janette decided to visit the famous DR, Now. If you know Dr. Now, you know he doesn't sugarcoat things. Ann Janette's first meeting was a wake-up call. Dr. Now's brutal honesty and stark health assessment were a reality check. He laid out the harsh truth and the drastic changes she needed to make. Imagine being told that you need to overhaul your lifestyle completely. It's daunting, but sometimes that tough love is necessary.
9 pounds and you're 5'1", huh?
Yeah.
Your BMI is 128. You're probably one of the highest BMI we've seen. So this is very dangerous BMI to have. And with a BMI this high, once the patient become immobile, they die soon after that. So how is your mobility?
It's not good. Not right now. It's not good. I'm normally able to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But over the last
couple days,
just the shortest distance is taking my breath away.
Her progress was anything but smooth. On her second visit, the results were mixed. She had made some progress, but not enough to meet Dr. Now's target. It's a reminder that weight loss journeys are rarely straightforward. There are UPS and downs, victories, and setbacks. But Janette kept going, learning from each setback and pushing herself further. By her third visit, her hard work started paying off. She lost more weight, inching closer to her goal for surgery.
Stop wasting time you don't have, or things gonna get much worse for you and Janette very soon. And once it does, your health will decline rapidly, and then your body will just give out and you will die. So your only chance is to stop playing games and change now. So lose 100 pounds in 1 month. That's what you need to do. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I hope you're more serious this time when you say that. I'll see you both in a month. We look forward to getting your weight down and get you in better health, and nice to see you again.
Nice to see you
Okay?
again.
The story didn't end with the surgery. Post-surgery, Janette faced the challenge of maintaining her weight loss and adjusting to a new lifestyle. Losing weight is one thing, keeping it off is another. She had to stick to her new habits and continue her journey towards better health. By the end of 12 months with Dr. Now, she had dropped over 270 pounds. Can you believe that transformation? It's a testament to her willpower and the support system around her.
I'm finding more of myself as I work through the things I need. For the first couple of weeks after breaking up with Erica, I really just wanted to eat everything I could. But I didn't. And I know it's because I'm growing and making progress with how I'm dealing with things. So I've been able to stay on track like I need, and Dr. Now says he's proud of me. And if I keep it up, I'll be in the low 300s in 3 to 4 months.
Start doing it twice a day. You need to increase your activity, so you need to do all.
Because I know that Dr. Now would not be happy. And if he gives up on me, then I know that I will have let Lucy down.
Starting with a shocking revelation, Ontreon Shannon's journey on the show was nothing short of a roller coaster ride, filled with ups and downs and failures. Ontreon was dealing with some serious stuff. He had congestive heart failure and diabetes and was taking about 13 to 14 medications every day. Imagine having to remember all those pills every single day. But how did he end up like this?
I have 2 or 3 different doctors that said I'll be lucky to even see 40. The worst is already beginning to happen. It's definitely no way to live. I take about 13 to 14 different medications to make sure my heart does not fail. And that's the only thing that keeps me out of the hospital.
As we delve into Ontreon's past, it's clear his relationship with food has deep roots. Since he was a kid, Ontreon found comfort in food. He'd hang out with his grandmother, playing games, and eating a bunch. By the time he was 18, he had already weighed around 450 pounds. So his grandmother was playing the role of an enabler.
We play games, but we eat. We do this, but we eat. And good food was always present. How many calories is that?
What you're supposed to eat.
You put some honey on it?
3 more.
His background was tough too. Ontreon grew up in a single-parent family, experienced the loss of his grandfather and father to heart issues, lost his job, and then got hit with his own heart failure diagnosis. When things got rough, Ontreon would turn to food for some comfort. Let's see how these factors will play out in his quest for a healthier life.
For 7 years, working 10 to 14-hour days. At first, my size worked in my favor. Being big helped intimidate customers who came to steal things. And that's when I started to have health issues of my own. And I got diagnosed of heart failure. And then the cardiologist cut me off as her patient. And she said that there's nothing that we can do for you. I lost my job at the store and had a total mental breakdown. I ended up becoming suicidal.
And things got even tougher when he lost his job as a security guard because of his heart condition. Ontreon's wife, Musa, was his main support. He wanted to start a family with her, but she was worried about his health and asked him to lose weight first. Now, what he will do to turn his life around.
When I met him, he was moving around. I saw that he was willing to change, and so I gave him a chance. But now he wants a family. I cannot give it to him unless he loses that weight so that we help each other.
In a critical turn of events, Ontreon decided he would seek some help. So, Ontreon decided to see Dr. Now, weighing in at 702 pounds. Dr. Now gave him a plan, a 1-200-calorie diet and some exercise, hoping to see him lose 80 pounds in 2 months. But sticking to the plan was harder than expected. Will he really commit to the program?
You said all this before, and so far it seems like you go in the other direction, okay? So to get you started, I'm going to give you a 1,200-calorie diet that is high pro, low carb. I'm going to walk you through it, and I want you to start that immediately.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to also give you some exercises, doing it twice a day. You need to increase your activity, so you need to do all these.
3 months later, Ontreon had only lost 19 pounds. Instead of following the diet, he added protein shakes and peanut butter. When Dr. Now asked him about it, Ontreon couldn't really explain why. He was non-serious during the whole conversation and was just laughing it off. But why was he not following the diet?
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it until we go back to the doctor so that he can explain to you, because it's not there. Like, it feels like maybe the food is the same. I told him, if you go through the book and look at the food, different kinds, just because you don't like it, but it's good for you, just take it. Because if you're full, you're not gonna think about it. That's what I told him. So we're waiting to come back so that you tell him that the shakes is a no-no, peanut is a no-no.
So not only he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't listen to you either.
Despite Dr. Now's warning, Ontreon's subsequent actions were disheartening, to say the least. Frustrated but not defeated, Dr. Now set another 80-pound challenge, hinting at the grim reality that Ontreon might not make it another 4 months if things didn't change. But change, it seemed, was a tough ask. At his next checkup, Ontreon had actually gained 6 pounds. Still joking, still shrugging it off. Let's see if he can ever overcome his obstacles.
This is my aunt. It's actually my mom's friend, but I call her Aunt Pat.
Okay. So what happened to your wife? She gave up on you?
No, she didn't give up. I mean, she had and stuff, and so they're trying to still work on her green card and stuff, so.
All right, well, it is a good thing she's not losing 80 pounds in 2 months. You gained 6 pounds. Dad?
I plead the Fifth Amendment. I don't know. I'm joking. No, I don't know how to explain it.
Seeing his non-seriousness, Dr. Now suggested seeing a psychotherapist, hoping to understand Ontreon's struggles. The psychotherapist advised him to list all his grievances as if he were composing a sermon. And can you believe it? He turned up with a coffee and a cinnamon roll, ready to sit down and draft that sermon. How ironic.
Well, I want you to write a sermon about this. Well, I feel like you have 2 kinds of weight to lose.
Yeah.
And 700 pounds of emotional weight, too.
But it seems like the emotional weight is heavier than the physical.
Yeah.
You know?
So, Ontreon, I'm going to bring your wife in. Is that okay?
Yes.
We'll talk about the homework, okay?
Okay.
Great. Hi, are you Musa?
Yes.
Hi, Musa, come on in.
Alrighty.
You can have a seat right over there.
Oh, thank you.
In the end, the outcome of Ontreon Shannon's story was both shocking and disheartening. Ontreon's weight had climbed to 704 pounds by the end of his episode. Gaining 15 pounds when he was supposed to be losing them was a gut punch to viewers, and undoubtedly to Ontreon himself. Ontreon's journey is one of the most insanely failed cases in my 600 LB life history.
Okay, we're gonna go to room 5.
It feels like no matter what I do, it's not gonna be good enough. I can't help but feel that I'm, because I know that Dr. Now would not be happy. And if he gives up on me, then I know that I will have let Musa down.
Lacey was dealing with some hefty health battles. Think diabetes, sky-high cholesterol, and blood pressure through the roof. Plus, her bones were literally crying out from the weight they had to bear. She even said she felt like a T-Rex taking these big, mighty steps, but at a snail's pace. You won't believe the emotions and struggles Lacey endures as her story unfolds.
There's no part of my body that doesn't hurt. Having crackling in my bones, heat rash in places that never goes away no matter how clean I am. I have stabbing pain in my feet and really dull crushing pain in my lower back. My right knee is the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I struggle with diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and it's all because of my weight. My body is crushing itself.
After learning about the physical battles, let's talk about her childhood. Growing up, Lacey's life was anything but easy. Her dad struggled with anger, and her mom. Well, let's just say she didn't exactly make Lacey feel wanted. She was a surprise baby. Born despite her mother's use of an IUD, leading to frequent reminders that she was an unplanned addition to the family. Yeah, it's not fun.
He was our surprise baby. I had IUD, but it got out of place. When I was writing Christmas cards, I'd get really emotional. That told me, oh my gosh, I think I'm pregnant. Yeah.
When I was very young, she told me that I was an IUD baby in an accident. I feel like a disaster. So my self-esteem was disgustingly low as a child. Therefore, I ate because it's what brought me comfort. Started gaining weight from the very beginning. By the time I was 6 or 7, I was around.
But the traumas didn't stop there. Imagine being in 3rd grade and going through something as awful as rape, only to have your own mom not believe you. That's when food turned into more than just meals for Lacey. It became her comfort, her escape. It's a testament to the complex ways trauma can manifest, setting the stage for her battles to come.
The summer before 3rd grade, I began hanging out with a new kid on the block, and we were playing one day, and he wanted me to go to his house. And when I went over, his older brother lived in the basement, and I was dragged to the basement by my friend for a horrific experience. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think anyone would believe me, so I never told anyone about this till I was in college. So technically he got away with it. So after that, my weight spiraled out of control.
Her weight became a formidable obstacle in her life. When we first met Lacey on the show, she was carrying around 593 pounds and had Ricky by her side. Ricky seemed like the real deal, always there to lend a hand, whether it was whipping up a meal or helping her keep clean. But was he more of a helper or an enabler?
Thankfully, I have Ricky now, who's not like those other guys, because he wants the best for me. So we're together now, and I'm thankful to have him. Not just to have somebody to help me.
How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm just chatting with my sister. The girls say hi.
Determined to change her life, Lacey met Dr. Now. After examination, Dr. Now gave Lacey a big goal, to lose 50 pounds in a month. She started off strong, but then life's curveballs started coming in hot. She began missing her appointments and fell back into those old comfy eating habits. Will she ever break free from years of emotional eating?
If I want to read every night, that will break down at 1,200 calories a day, low carb, high protein diet that you need to follow completely.
Okay.
And understand to correct your eating habit and what you can do at home. And I want you to lose twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. So in 2 months, you need to lose 50 pounds. That won't be hard to do at all.
Also, things got so tough between Lacey and Ricky that she ended up calling the cops on him and his sister Sharon because she didn't feel safe around them. It all happened on the road as they were making their way back to Houston, and Lacey was abandoned on the roadside. That's a major setback.
The police department and said we were all trying to hurt her, or in my case, she's trying to blame me for abusing her.
Get whatever the she needs off my is gone. You want your it will be at the U-Haul place. Woman, you don't even know what you just did.
I'm not abuse a person. I am the realest, nicest, greatest person alive. I would go above and beyond for my woman.
But what about her weight loss program? As for sticking to her diet, well, that plan didn't quite stick. She was supposed to be on this strict diet to lose weight, but the pounds just weren't shedding. Dr. Now even gave her another shot at meeting her weight loss goals, but it just wasn't in the cards for Lacey. Eventually, he had to make the tough call to remove her from the program because she just couldn't commit to the change.
If you're living down here, because we're not moving ahead with you until you do that. So, you have the guide and you have to use that. And if you don't follow that, there's nothing we can do to change that, okay?
Yes.
So stick.
At 34, Crystal was battling a mix of health issues like diabetes, hypertension, and polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which not only affected her health, but also brought unexpected challenges like hair growth in unusual places, including her face. To add to her struggles, parts of her stomach were nerve damaged, making her situation even more complex. So, will Crystal find a way to turn her life around?
My husband Freeland is the one I rely on to help me get up and through my day. But I hate making him do that because I know it's hard for him.
We're right behind you.
But my body is in such bad shape now, and I have all these medical conditions making everything worse for me. First it started with things like joint pain, and it's been hard to breathe when I do too much. But now I have all these other issues.
You're gonna give me a shot.
As we've seen, Crystal's relationship with her body was complicated from the start. From a young age, Crystal found comfort in food. It wasn't just about eating, but about finding a momentary escape from reality. Her journey into binge eating began at 5, around the same time she faced a horrifying trauma at the hands of a family friend, a sexual abuse that continued until she was 13. No one should ever go through this trauma.
5, that my weight gain started. Christmas Eve, right before I turned 5 years old. We went and stayed with some family for the holidays. And that's when one of them molested me for the first time. After that, my life was never the same. But that was just... I didn't say anything to anybody for a long time. And so every time my mom sent us to their house, it happened to me again.
Following Crystal's escape into food for comfort, this dark period of her life was a secret she kept buried, even as she endured more physical trauma from her mother's abusive partner, who targeted Crystal and her sisters. By 10, Crystal's weight had soared to over 250 pounds, a clear sign of how deeply food had become her refuge. But will she ever escape from this addiction?
Because I wasn't safe anywhere. So I just tried to escape, and food made me happy. And when I needed that, I ate. So that's when I really started gaining. And by the time I turned 7, I weighed about 150 to 200 pounds. So I was putting on weight quickly, and that didn't really change. By the time it's already up to over 250. But I never really thought it was a big deal until I turned around 11 or 12 years old.
While taking on new responsibilities, Crystal's health was a ticking time bomb, and she knew she needed some serious help. When Crystal first met Dr. Now, her weight was at a staggering 618 pounds. Dr. Now was taken aback by her lifestyle, particularly her sleeping habits, 15 to 16 hours a day, and her choice of breakfast, ramen noodles and cheeseburgers. What will Dr. Now recommend for Crystal?
Yeah.
Then after that, what do you do?
Sometimes I'll take a nap or go sit in the front room and watch a movie.
You just woke up, you take a nap?
Yeah.
Okay. And what time you go to bed?
I'm usually in bed by 7:30.
So you sleep from 7:30 till 11 o'clock next day? How many hours is that? You know, the fact that you sleep from 7 o'clock at night till 11 o'clock next day is very abnormal, okay? So you should get 8 hours sleep. Okay, and that's not healthy.
Dr. Now recommended her to cut down her sleep to 8 hours and pushed for a consultation with Dr. Paradise, a psychotherapist. Dr. Paradise suggested journaling as a way for Crystal to process her traumas, telling her, "You have kept so much inside. You probably have books inside of you of things that have never been said. Will this lead to a lasting and positive change?"
It's going to involve journaling. And I want you to use that journal as a way to start being a little vulnerable in your writing.
Okay.
Because you were quiet for so long. You kept so much inside. You get said. So start writing it now.
Okay.
Get it out.
Okay.
Crystal, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Here, have a good night.
Bye.
Crystal's efforts to change her life seem to be paying off, at least initially. At her second checkup, Crystal weighed in at 591 pounds. Dr. Now sets a new goal for her: lose 80 pounds in the next 2 months. Crystal worked hard, and by her next visit, she amazed everyone by getting down to 526 pounds, which meant she was cleared for surgery. But can Crystal maintain this momentum?
Around easier, and I can walk for longer before I get tired. So I'm definitely noticing a difference in what I can do and all that.
That's good. I'm glad to see all your progress. You didn't make it to an 80-pound goal, but you're losing more per month this time. And in total, you're getting close to losing 100 pounds. So you've been sticking with it for a few months. So last surgery. That sound good?
That's amazing.
Okay. So before we do that, you need to move down here to Houston. Are you ready to do that?
Just when it seemed Crystal was on the path to recovery, life had other plans. Things took a turn when she missed her appointments for 7 months. When she finally came back, her weight had gone up again to 579 pounds. Because of the weight she put back on, Crystal couldn't have the weight loss surgery. This turn of events makes her story one of the most unexpected and failed cases on the show.
Went back to coping with food again. When I talked to you, I warned you that no matter how hard it gets, you need to stay on track, or we won't move ahead with your weight loss surgery.
I know it's just been do this on my own.
I understand that, but you're still gaining, so that's the issue.
So I'm still able to get weight loss surgery?
Not while you're gaining, I do that. But this is what we can do. You have shown me you can do this one.
Kanae couldn't stand up by herself for more than a quick 45-second countdown. Yep, you heard that right. Even a simple trip to the bathroom turned into a team effort. Her nieces, Alika and Deja, were the MVPs of shower time, while her nephew played the crucial role of walking assistant. You won't believe how these everyday hurdles push her towards an unimaginable path.
Come on, babe. I'm ready to get washed up. Alicia is 16. If I'm gonna take a good shower, Alicia helps. Or if Deja's here, she helps. Deja is 19, and she's in college, so she's in and out of the house here.
Now, let's rewind a bit. By 10, Kine weighed over 150 pounds, and by 13, she was 230 to 240 pounds. But despite her weight, she was living a normal, happy life in high school. She was dating someone and went to prom in high school at 17. So, for her, her weight didn't seem to be a problem, so she kept eating more and more. That's some next-level ignorance.
But I don't feel like I missed out on anything during that time because of my size. So I was happy in high school. I dated. I went to prom. So I didn't see a reason to change how I ate. So I kept eating more and gaining weight. And I graduated from high school at 17. I was well over 350 pounds. But I was still able to manage pretty well at that time.
After high school, Kanae landed a job and left home. But guess what? With newfound independence came an escalation in her fast food adventures and binge eating sessions. Before she knew it, 400 pounds was the new normal. But did she sweat it? Nope. Movement wasn't a problem, so in her eyes, everything was peachy. But the plot thickens as Kinney's weight continues to climb.
I didn't buy groceries. I ate out. I was making my own money. You just drive through. So my eating habits changed for the worse. And it was at that time my weight had gotten up to around 400 pounds. But I didn't feel bad because I could still move around pretty good. I was still moving and working and, walking around and not hurting. Just didn't really bother me.
So I kept on doing whatever I wanted with food and eating.
But Kinney had dreams like starting a bigger family. There was just one big hurdle. Her weight was causing infertility and other health issues. Then life hit hard. She lost her mom and a tornado destroyed her house. These tough times made her turn to food even more. Wait until you hear how these adversities push her towards a pivotal decision.
Infertility can put a strain on the relationship. I just always figured that once I found someone that I wanted to settle down with, I'd get pregnant, we'd have kids, we'd go on with life. But I wasn't getting pregnant. I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it did attribute to weight gain, and that devastated me.
Then, at 41, Kinney decided it was time for a change and sought out the legendary Dr. Now. Starting weight? A whopping 614 pounds. Dr. Now prescribed a strict 1,200 calorie diet and some daily exercise, setting a bold goal of shedding 75 pounds in 2 months. But it was tough, especially since Kinney was the one in charge of food at home. So how will she cope with this problem?
Family would tell you you're eating too much, don't eat that much, or...
Will they tell me that?
Yeah.
No.
Nobody tell you that?
No.
Okay.
No one's gonna step on my toes.
Well, the dynamic seems to be that you get everyone to enable you, and you use them as a crutch, and it sounds like that is affecting their health too.
At her second visit, her weight was 592 pounds. So she only lost 22 pounds in 2 months instead of her target of losing at least 75 pounds. When Dr. Now asked her about it, she got defensive, saying, "You're not a magician, and you're not a god. You're just a doctor. Talk about tension."
With a strict eating 3 times a day, around 400 calories per meal. There'll be no carb on your diet, no potato chips, no snacking. Okay.
But despite the rocky start, she agreed to stick to the 1,200 calorie diet. Dr. Now also sent her to a psychotherapist, Dr. Paradise, who suggested writing a letter to her late mom. It was a way for Kinney to process everything that happened since her mom's passing. Let's see if this will positively help her.
But ultimately, this is all up to Kinney. No matter what any of her family does, she has to make the choice to start to change now and do what she needs to get on the right track before her situation gets any worse.
However, Kinney's emotional and physical transformation journey reached a critical milestone. Kinney weighed 543 pounds by her third appointment and was given a new goal. However, dreams of surgery were put on hold due to health concerns signaled by high white blood cell counts. So, the question remained, will her dreams of a new beginning come to fruition?
Praying for something to save my life because I'll probably die in my bed one day.
I'm not. There's never really a time when I'm not eating.
I hate what my life has become, and if I don't change...
Let's start with Pauline Potter, who was once officially the world's heaviest female. If you think your diet is tough, wait until you hear about Pauline's journey. It's like Mount Everest of weight loss challenges. Back in 2011, Pauline weighed in at over 700 pounds and was grappling with serious health issues. At 51, entirely dependent on her son for basic needs, she decided enough was enough. It was time for a change. And let's just say deciding is one thing, doing is a whole other ball game.
I am absolutely trapped in this body. I've let myself get way out of control. And I feel like I'm dying every day. I can't even move without help. I can feed myself and I can wipe myself, but anything else after that, I need help.
From the get-go, Pauline's relationship with food was, well, complicated. For breakfast, 5 pancakes. Yes, folks, 5. And that was just to start the day. You might wonder, is she running a marathon later? Nope, she's just planning her next meal right after finishing the current one. Her food obsession wasn't just a habit, it was practically a full-time job.
You feel like he's the parent and I'm the kid.
I love my mom, but since she's this heavy, whatever I'm doing, I have to stop and just take care of her and help her
all he has ever known as a mother that weighed at least 500, and then 600, and then 700.
When she joined the show, she faced the legendary Dr. Now and his infamous 1,200 calorie diet. If you've watched the show, you know Dr. Now doesn't mess around. Pauline, weighing 643 pounds at her first weigh-in, wasn't thrilled about it. In fact, she resisted so much that she almost threw in the towel. At one point, her weight even spiked to 678 pounds under Dr. Now's watch. Talk about a plot twist. You can't help but cringe and think, come on, Pauline, you can do this.
Tell me about your eating habit.
Even when I'm not hungry, I'm still wanting to reach for something. Could be chips, or it could be cookies, or it could be ice cream. Even if I'm physically full, I'm still wanting to snack on, something.
Cookie, chips, ice cream. The next question is, who buys those?
I'll send my son, but I know what you're gonna say, and it's really not his fault. I know he's probably considered an enabler, but I abuse my position as his mother, and I tell him, go get my
But here's where Dr. Now's tough love shines. He's like the weight loss whisperer or something, because eventually Pauline turned it around. After losing 44 pounds, she got the green light for weight loss surgery. But just when we thought, smooth sailing ahead, Pauline hits us with a curveball. She developed an addiction to pain medication post-surgery. It's like every time she dodges one obstacle, another one pops up. Life really doesn't give her a break, does it?
Maybe give him his own life back. This is my last option.
Okay, take a big deep breath.
Pauline is having gastric bypass today. We got her to lose some weight, but she will not continue to be successful without weight loss surgery. If we're making the first incision, these morbidly obese patients, their stomach may be as big as a large watermelon.
Despite the new battle with addiction, Pauline managed to lose about 300 pounds, making her eligible for skin removal surgery. That part of her story really shows her grit. Honestly, if Pauline can keep pushing through all these hurdles, maybe I should stop complaining about missing my occasional Sunday jog, right?
Here after surgery, and you want to roll with this thing instead of walking?
The only reason I have this chair is because I can't walk that far without getting dizzy.
Pauline is fully capable of walking, but she just doesn't want to do it.
That's not bad, I guess.
Pauline had shed a whopping 520 pounds and decided to end her weight loss journey, planning to move back to California. From record holder to record breaker, she's been through a whirlwind, but emerged as one of the biggest success stories of my 600 lb life. She reminds us all that changing your life is possible, even when it feels like the universe is just stacking odds against you. Pauline's story isn't just a weight loss journey, it's a testament to human resilience. It's filled with UPS and downs that make you cringe, cheer, and maybe shed a tear or two.
Tell me about your eating habit. What do you eat for a typical day?
I have to eat like every 3 hours or I get nauseous, so...
I want to get away from just eating 3 hours, okay? You only eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right, but I'm just eating something little, like a little cup of yogurt.
That's binge eating, that's gonna escalate.
Nicole Lewis's unforgettable journey on the show is one of those stories that makes you cringe, cheer, and sometimes want to look away, but ultimately, you can't, because it's just that compelling. So, Nicole came into Dr. Now's world at 23 years old, weighing a massive 684 pounds. With 2 young kids she couldn't care for on her own, she was leaning heavily on her parents and her boyfriend Charlie for everyday support. It's heart-wrenching to think that someone so young was facing such a monumental battle.
Every day when I get up, I feel like I'm dying. Because it's very hard for me to breathe. And my lungs feel very compressed. So I have to take extra deep breaths in just to be able to move. And my back hurts. My body just trembles in pain.
When Nicole first walked into Dr. Now's clinic, you could tell she was ready for a change, but maybe not fully prepared for the rocky road ahead. Dr. Now, who isn't one to sugarcoat the harsh realities of weight loss surgery, decided Nicole was ready for a gastric sleeve operation after she had shown some initial dedication to losing weight. Despite her family's unhealthy eating habits back at home, Nicole realized something pretty important, that she was the only one who could truly decide to turn her life around. It's like deciding to clean your room while everyone else's is a mess. Not easy, right?
Stand and cook for myself, so I have to eat what's brought to me.
So who bring you the food?
My boyfriend and my mom.
Why are you doing that?
If she wants it, she'll throw a fit if I don't get it for her.
So, Nicole, let me get this straight. You don't want to eat the bad food, but you have to because your family makes you, and you bring the bad food because she will get upset. So I think I'm picking up on some of the problem.
By the end of her first year in the program, Nicole had lost an impressive 163 pounds, bringing her weight down to 521 pounds. Just as things were looking up, her boyfriend Charlie popped the question, and she said yes! It's like a little bit of sunshine breaking through a stormy sky. A really nice moment in a tough journey.
Do my absolute hardest to lose the weight and feel happy for once.
Hey, good looking.
There's my handsome man.
What's up? How was your workout?
Really good. Right now, I'm working as hard as I can to make the progress I need. But I'm still struggling at times. And the temptation's the worst when I get stressed out about where we're living. But I just really hope we find a place soon because we can't afford to keep living in hotels.
But life has a way of throwing curveballs, and Nicole's story had a few more in store. She and Charlie felt they needed to distance themselves from her parents due to suspicions of her father's relapse into drug use. Financially strapped and unable to afford a place in Houston, they moved back to Ohio. And just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, Nicole's dad ended up in jail and was later diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It's like every time Nicole knocked down one hurdle, another one grew right back.
My parents are even threatening to take our kids back to Ohio without me and Charlie. So I have to find a place for us to live.
Thank you for choosing First Class Road. May I assist you?
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm calling about a property you have for rent on Bexley Street.
We do have an open waiting list right now from 6 months up to 1 year.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I need something immediately.
We needed something 2 days ago.
Despite these overwhelming challenges, Nicole stuck to her guns. She continued to lose weight, aiming to qualify for skin removal surgery. By sticking to her diet and exercise plan, she eventually dropped a total of 326 pounds and was able to ditch her wheelchair, weighing in at 358 pounds. Unfortunately, even though Dr. Now approved her for the skin removal surgery, it never happened.
Nicole Lewis? I don't know if I was supposed to lose 30 pounds still, or what I'm supposed to do. So I'm scared if the doctor doesn't approve me today, my family's gonna give up and move back to Ohio. If that happens, I have no hope. I can't believe what the scale said.
This is where Nicole's journey takes a turn that might make some of you say, wait, what? She ended up suing the production company of My 600 LB Life, claiming they promised to cover the costs of her skin surgery and support her move back to Houston. But none of that came to fruition. It's like being promised a bonus for hard work and then finding out you're not only not getting the bonus, but you also have to pay for the office Christmas party.
So you ready to go home?
I am, but I'm worried because of all the stress and drama that takes place in the house. I don't know if it's going to be the same when I go home because there's something going on between me and my dad. He hasn't come to visit me in the hospital. And he wouldn't even call me or anything. It hurts. It breaks my heart.
Through all the trials, her weight loss, the family drama, and even a lawsuit, Nicole's story is incredibly inspiring. She faced each obstacle with a strength that makes you root for her, hoping she finds the peace and health she's worked so hard for. Her journey is a stark reminder that the path to recovery, in any sense, is never just a straight line.
And I think it's best that way because there's a lot of screaming and yelling and negativity in this house, and I can't deal with it anymore.
I ain't gonna be mad at you because that's what you come down here for. I really don't know how to tell your father.
He has a problem, Mom. There is thoughts in my mind that Dad is doing drugs again, and I don't want that around the kids because they're gonna grow up the same way I did. But I'm thankful that you're here. You're my mom and I love you, and I love my dad, but I have to stand up and be the mom that the kids need me.
At just 30 years old, Ashley found herself tipping the scales at a staggering 668 pounds, living in Los Angeles. When she described herself as feeling like a monster, it wasn't just the physical weight that was crushing her. It was the emotional toll of feeling like a burden to her husband Daniel and her mom. Can you imagine feeling that way about yourself? It's pretty heavy stuff.
When I imagined my life at 30, I thought I would have my white picket fence, I'd have kids. But my life is nothing like that. It's a nightmare. My entire body is in constant pain. I'm completely miserable.
And here's where it starts getting cringy, folks. Ashley's hygiene routine was, well, let's just say a bit lacking. She bathed only twice a month. Just imagine avoiding a shower for that long with all the smells and germs building up. Yeah, that's a solid yikes from me. But let's dig deeper into how Ashley found herself in this situation and what she did to face these massive challenges.
I cannot stand for more than 5 minutes.
So even when I shower, I have to sit down. And like with everything else in my life, I have to ask for help. In order to not have the rough patches on my skin, my mom has to scrub me really, really hard with an abrasive sponge.
If you thought the bathing habits were tough, wait until you hear about her eating habits. From the moment Ashley woke up, it was all about food. At the start of her episode, she was served her breakfast, which shockingly consisted of 3 plates loaded with junk food. I'm talking no veggies, no eggs, nothing remotely healthy, just pure junk food overload. This was just the tip of the iceberg in Ashley's struggle with her weight.
I can't believe I weigh this much. I can't believe this is my life. This is my reality. I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. Okay. I can't live like this anymore. How do I fix this? I feel like I'm so far gone.
So, what led her to gain so much? Ashley turned to eating as a way to cope after suffering abuse by her uncle at a young age. This trauma played a huge role in her escalating weight, which eventually started causing problems in her married life. It's heartbreaking how often emotional pain translates into physical challenges, isn't it?
I gained some weight as I got older, but I really started to gain around 7th grade.
Because when I was 12 years old, my uncle sexually assaulted me. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feel safe. So I would eat to gain back whatever little happiness I could. Food filled the void that I was feeling on the inside.
On the show, Ashley did manage to turn things around significantly. She lost over 106 pounds, which is no small feat. But with great weight loss comes great responsibility, specifically dealing with the aftermath. She appeared in a follow-up episode showcasing her post-weight loss struggles, including dealing with loose skin, pain, and chafing issues. It's like finally getting a taste of freedom, but realizing you still have miles to go.
I was really surprised when the doctor didn't find anything wrong with my stomach. He told me that I need to start dealing with my emotions and getting back to eating solid foods. Oreo, let's go. Come on. I had picture recovery a whole different way than it actually has been.
Hi, how you feeling?
I just didn't want to be in my room anymore. I can keep food down now, but everything makes me nauseous.
Ashley opened up about how the physical pain and other issues related to her excess skin took a toll on her, and she expressed a desire for a permanent procedure to eliminate it. Unfortunately, she hasn't revealed if she underwent the surgery, but given her past determination and positive mindset, it wouldn't surprise anyone if she did decide to go through with it to achieve her ideal weight. Ashley's story is a powerful reminder of just how intertwined our physical and emotional health are, and it's inspiring to see someone tackle their deepest issues head on.
but she's constantly forced ahead and done what she needs. And I have great confidence she's going to make it to her target weight next year. You done very well, and I'm proud of you. You stick with the program, and you're getting very good progress, okay? I'll see you soon.
Imagine dealing with health complications so severe that standing for more than 30 seconds was an ordeal. Isaac lived in constant fear of falling over because getting back up seemed nearly impossible. To manage this, he even wore grip socks in the shower to prevent slips. Just picture trying to navigate your daily life like that.
And I have to have help sometimes. Angelisa! Oh, good morning.
Morning.
You brought my walker?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where are your socks?
They're right there. I live with my mom and dad, my brother Angel, and sister Angelisa. And they help me out when I need it.
Can you lift up a little bit for me?
Yeah.
Isaac, hailing from Texas, was only 23 when he first appeared on the show, weighing in at 661 pounds. Despite his health struggles, this young man juggled heavy responsibilities, from caring for his mom to cooking large meals for his family. His life had already been a roller coaster, having previously suffered a cardiac arrest that left him in a coma for a week. But he was determined to turn his life around when he appeared on the show.
And my big job is to cook and make the big meals for the family. So it can be hard, but first thing I do every day is I get up and I cook so I can feed my family. But I can't be in the kitchen for it anymore. I have to make the meals from where I can sit because I can't stand for too long. So I can't cook standing up, and I have to get all the ingredients and what I need, and I go to the living room to make it all.
Rewinding back to his childhood, Isaac's early years were marked by instability and chaos. Food became his refuge amidst the loud and distressing fights fueled by his father's alcohol addiction. The trauma deepened when he lost his father at just 8 years old, which only escalated his emotional dependence on eating as his comfort.
Today, I'm going to try to go to Houston to see Dr. Now. I made an appointment with him, and it's this afternoon. And my brother was going to take me there, but he can't do it like he thought. And I asked everyone else, but they can't do it on short notice.
The struggles didn't end with his father's death. At 11, while his mother was at work, a friend of his mother's who was supposed to look after him began physically abusing him. Incredibly alone and terrified, Isaac kept the abuse to himself. Instead, he sought solace in the one place he always found comfort: food. It's heartbreaking to think that food became his only escape from such a dark reality.
He was overweight. It never stopped him from making friends because of his personality. Even in high school, where, kids can be so mean and bully people, he was never bullied.
Even at 300 pounds and over, I was very social. I was runner-up for most friendliest. I was homecoming prince my sophomore year. I was class president. I was in student council every year.
Upon consulting with Dr. Now, Isaac took a significant step toward changing his life. He committed to a healthier diet and a daily exercise routine. Despite the added challenges of his mother's cancer treatment and ongoing family duties, Isaac was able to make commendable progress. By the 12-month mark on the show, he had shed 122 pounds, bringing his weight down to 539 pounds.
So what kind of changes you made with your eating habit?
Everything. I dropped all the sugary drinks. I dropped all the sugar. Pretty much just vegetables and protein.
Okay. Well, if that's accurate, then it's the portion sizes that are the issue. So, are you making any exception to the diet when you cook or eat with your family that you may not pay attention to?
I'm not sure.
Mom, do you see him sneaking food at all?
No, you've been...
But Isaac's journey didn't wrap up neatly with a bow. His episode concluded without revealing whether he underwent the weight loss surgery he was hoping for, leaving us all wondering. The story ended with Isaac striving to lose weight for another 2 months. A bittersweet moment that showed his commitment but also the harsh realities of such a profound journey.
Another 30 pounds by then, we will move ahead with your surgery then. You think you can do that?
Definitely. 100% I'll do that.
Okay, great. I'm proud of you for sticking with it. I know Mom and Dad are too.
I can't even express what I'm feeling right now. I'm so proud of him.
Grandma would be proud, right?
Yeah, she would.
Good. So just keep it up, and if you do, I'll see you in a couple of months, and we'll do your weight loss surgery, okay?
My body's taking over me. It's destroyed my life. And this is pure hell. It really is.
You're still overeating. Follow what I'm saying?
I don't, because I'm not eating. And I'm tired of people telling me that I'm eating because I'm not eating.
Like a prisoner. My life is pretty much over if this is all that's left for me.
Buckle up, because Joe's experience was a roller coaster of emotions, setbacks, and, unfortunately, diet disasters that left us all a bit stunned. Joe Wexler's tale starts in Johnson City, TN, where at 31, he tipped the scales at a shocking 777 pounds. His battle with food wasn't a sudden one. It stemmed from deep childhood issues, seeking his father's attention and not getting it pushed young Joe to find solace in food. Tragically, he felt trapped in his own body to the point of contemplating suicide.
My left knee popped real loud and the pain's unbearable.
Have you been in the floor this whole time, or were you able to get back up?
No, I've been in the floor.
We're sending them out there to you, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Being this size, I'm in excruciating pain all the time.
Joe's life became a cycle of isolation and shame. Even with the support of his sister Annie and his mom Robin, he felt incredibly alone. Battling congestive heart failure and diabetes, Joe was juggling about 13 to 14 medications daily. Can you imagine the burden of remembering all those pills every day? But how did Joe's life spiral to this point?
I absolutely despise it because I want to be independent.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I've seen better days.
Yeah, I heard you went to the hospital this morning. How was that?
You know, they,
Looking back, Joe's relationship with food was deeply ingrained from his childhood. Spending time with his grandmother involved playing games and indulging in too much food, setting a pattern early on. By 18, he already weighed around 450 pounds. Was his grandmother unintentionally enabling his unhealthy habits?
Hard leaving everything here behind.
So many things are running through my head. My mom is leaving behind everything to come and help take care of me. On the road we go. And I'm scared. What if I just can't do this? I want to believe that I can, because if I don't, I'm going to die. Greg, can we stop and get something to eat?
Joe's background didn't help either. Growing up in a chaotic family environment and experiencing significant losses like the deaths of his grandfather and father due to heart issues, Joe faced immense emotional turmoil. Each hardship seemed to drive him further into comfort eating. It's a classic case of using food as an emotional crutch, but let's see how it affected his quest for a healthier life.
One of the things that catches people a lot is stress eating or emotional eating. And when you do eat, always ask yourself the why. You know, the surgery's life-changing. And so you want to use this time to make some life changes and to prepare yourself. Okay, so now I want to show you something about labels. If we can look at this one here, you can see what I want you to zero in on these labels first of all.
On the show, Joe took a major step by meeting with Dr. Now, who set a clear goal for him: lose 150 pounds to qualify for weight loss surgery. Joe and his mother even moved to Houston to be closer to Dr. Now for better monitoring. However, when Joe found out he had gained 15 pounds instead of losing, the disappointment was palpable. But Joe didn't give up just yet.
This past month, I've gotten more depressed. I've told the doctor. He set me up with a therapist to talk to me and help me work through my emotions right now.
Recognizing Joe's struggles with emotional eating, Dr. Now recommended therapy. During one session, the psychotherapist suggested Joe list all his grievances as if he were writing a sermon. Ironically, Joe showed up to the session with a coffee and a cinnamon roll in hand, ready to tackle his issues but still caught in the grip of old habits.
A whole entire breakfast is 210 calories.
I'm
Very proud of you. That looks kind of like a lot of food, too.
I'm gonna push myself as hard as I can to get to the weight I need. High protein, no carbs.
You feel full now?
Oh, Lord, yeah. Everything is riding on hitting my goal. I see the doctor next month, and I know this is my last chance.
In the end, Joe Wexler's story didn't have the triumphant finish we all hoped for. By the close of his episode, his weight had escalated to 704 pounds, despite his initial efforts. Gaining 15 pounds when he desperately needed to lose weight was a real gut punch, not just to viewers, but undoubtedly to Joe himself. It's a stark reminder of how challenging and complex the journey to health can be.
Today is the moment I retake my life and say, no more.
Today we're gonna go ahead and get the weight loss surgery for Joe. The most effective type of surgery for this size patient is gastric bypass. Turn the room lights off.
Betty Jo's journey is a wild ride filled with controversy, frustration, and those moments that just make you shout, really, at your screen. Imagine being a young girl already caught in the grips of food addiction by age 3. By 7, Betty weighed 200 pounds, and by 14, she had nearly doubled. It's a heart-wrenching start to life, isn't it?
I have taken on a lot for Betty Jo. I do everything I can. Everything. It's hard.
My marriage with Josh is really difficult for us because of my weight.
It prevents me from having a real marriage because he has to be my caretaker.
Betty's childhood was scarred by intense bullying, the profound loss of loved ones, and abandonment. She opened up about some of the darkest chapters of her life, including being abandoned by her father and enduring a harrowing experience with a neighbor. The loss of her grandmother only deepened her emotional pain, sending her spiraling further into despair.
My life totally changed. I was sexually assaulted. I've always been happy-go-lucky, but after that, I wasn't even like myself anymore. I was angry, I was depressed, so I started eating more.
Betty Jo turned to food as her comfort, and through the process, just slowly got bigger.
Throughout these tumultuous times, Betty's mom stood by her as her rock. However, life threw yet another curveball, and circumstances led to Betty ending up in an epilepsy institution. Isolated and adrift, food became her unwavering companion, offering solace in the face of overwhelming loneliness and a spiraling depression. This marked a critical turning point in her life, setting her on a path she never expected to walk.
How to get an eating habit that's going to be sustainable? What's your biggest challenge?
I love anything that has to do with potatoes.
Who does the grocery shopping?
She makes the list, I go get the stuff.
So you are her enabler.
Basically, I've stopped trying to argue with her.
I'm concerned that her husband may be the biggest problem. He's an enabler, but he's not overweight, which means he's feeding her because he may want her to be.
In a desperate bid for change, Betty reached out to Dr. Now, clinging to the hope he might offer her a lifeline. But here's where the plot thickens. While Betty was all words, her actions told a different story. Her commitment to Dr. Now's diet plan seemed more like lip service than genuine effort. The gap between her intentions and actions was as wide as a canyon.
Well, that is a high-calorie food. What do you mean raisins, Brandon? It's been a couple months since surgery. Betty Jo, she should have at least lost another 60 pounds. The fact that she hasn't lost any weight means that she's overeating. Just pay attention when I tell you, okay? If the calorie you take and the calorie you spend is equal, your weight will stay the same.
I have been kind of overeating because I have been a little depressed and stuff.
As we reached the final weigh-in, it became the moment of truth for Betty. Despite her claims of progress, she fell drastically short of qualifying for gastric bypass surgery, having lost only 2 pounds. This not only led to a clash with Dr. Now, but left all of us wondering if her weight loss journey would ever really take off.
And he
did it.
I wonder, Josh, what are you thinking or feeling, or how has it affected you? The weight loss or the surgery, and just how has that changed your relationship?
I used to take care of her. I used to be her caregiver, do what she needs, but now she's starting to just be able to move around and stuff, and in a way that really scares me because I don't want her to leave me.
Lately, you kind of
In a dramatic climax, Betty's frustration boiled over. During a heated confrontation with Dr. Now, she was visibly upset and walked out in the middle of an appointment. This moment encapsulated the entire frustration of her journey on the show, leaving us all biting our nails and shaking our heads.
you know, a marriage like we were before I got this big.
It sounds like ultimately you both want to find a way to have like that happiness in the relationship together. Okay, well, it was nice meeting you today. Okay.
Nice meeting you.
I think it helps understanding how afraid Josh is.
Betty's story doesn't just highlight the struggles with weight loss. It's a profound look at the battle against personal demons and the continuous struggle for self-improvement. Her journey is a stark reminder of how essential genuine commitment and resilience are in the face of adversity.
So I'm volunteering to help put together food bags for children in need.
So it's 2 applesauce, 1 carrot. Good.
I want to give back because I spent so long taking. To be able to come down here by myself and do something to help others. I feel like I'm becoming more the person I want to be.
Now let's dive into one of the show's most inspiring yet challenging journeys. It's the story of Tanisha Cleveland, whose initial weigh-in shocked us all at 637 pounds. Tanisha's life was literally at a standstill, trapped within the confines of her home, dependent on a walker, and unable to care for herself without help from her family. But was she ready for the wake-up call that Dr. Now was about to deliver?
Taking over me, it's destroyed my life. I feel like it's taking everything away from me, everything. And I feel like I'm imprisoned in my own body. I do feel like a caged animal, I do. And it's something that's always hurting. My knees want to buckle. My back feel like it's broken. And it's just excruciating to even get up. I can't even make it to the bathroom to start my day.
Driven by a desire to play a more active role in her children's lives, Tanisha reached out to Dr. Now. During their first meeting, she opened up about her past struggles, including being an assault survivor, which she felt contributed to her weight issues. But Dr. Now, ever the straight shooter, challenged her not to let her past define her future, urging her, "Do not use your past as an excuse." It was the tough love she needed, and guess what? It actually worked.
I really doubt that you're gonna make any significant changes from last time, but I'm gonna give you a chance, okay?
Thank you.
Here's the list again. So you can go back to a 1,200 calorie a day diet. This is a list of all items of food that you need to avoid, okay? So you ran out of excuses, now it's time to change. And I want you to lose 30 pounds over the next one, just like the first time. Okay?
Spurred on by Dr. Now's no-nonsense approach, Tanisha threw herself into her weight loss efforts with newfound determination. She hit the gym hard, tackling the treadmill like it owned her money. Her commitment quickly started to pay off. Under Dr. Now's watchful eye, she began shedding weight at an impressive rate. Her progress was so remarkable that, within months, Dr. Now gave her the green light for weight loss surgery. But how did this chapter in her journey end?
I'm a little frustrated right now because I'm working hard. And I don't know what else I can do to prove it to him. There's a part of me that's not sure I want to keep doing this or try anymore because I feel like I've done enough. But I have no other choice because I don't want to lose this chance.
By the time her episode wrapped up, Tanisha had lost over 133 pounds in less than a year. A phenomenal achievement by any standard. But she didn't stop there. Tanisha continued to push herself, and the results kept coming. Nowadays, she flaunts her transformation on social media, where she actively shares updates with fans and followers. While she keeps her full body shots scarce, her glamorous selfies speak volumes of her confidence and the long way she's come.
But I've gone back to him twice and started over, and I failed both times. So I have no idea if he'll even consider me again, and that makes me scared to even try. So I'm praying God gives me the strength to at least fight for my life and try again.
Jesus love you.
I just need one more chance.
Tanisha now lives an active lifestyle and sticks to her diet and workout regimen diligently. She's well under 400 pounds and thriving, showing everyone that beauty isn't just skin deep. It's about the strength and spirit within. Her social media bio encapsulates her philosophy beautifully. Beauty is not defined by the shell of a person, it's the beauty within. Tanisha's story is more than just weight loss. It's about overcoming life's hefty challenges and transforming adversity into an advantage.
Sitting or relying on the wheelchair, so the standing for a long period of time is really challenging. Not wanting to go back to being dependent on others, being restricted from enjoying life and things with my children and just things for myself. That's what keeps me going. When I want a snack, that's what keeps me from saying, nope, don't touch that. Don't go to the chips, grab a salad or something. So I think about those things. Getting this surgery is the miracle that I've prayed for so long.
Linnea Reed, a 43-year-old from Mississippi, captured our hearts but also left us shouting at the TV a few times. Linnea became a fan favorite after she showcased her struggle with weight while balancing life as a new mom. When she first appeared on the show, she tipped the scales at over 650 pounds, battling a host of weight-related issues. From the get-go, her challenges were monumental.
When I get up to go to the bathroom, I know that I'm going to be out of breath. And I dread it. When I sit on the toilet, I have to brace myself and make sure I don't fall into the toilet, because being my size, you break toilet seats. And bathing is a chore.
In her opening scene, we saw Linnea, with help from her friend Virgie, struggling through a basic bathing process. Exhausted by just getting cleaned, she then sat down to a massive breakfast, a mountain of food that included 6 eggs, bacon, grits, pancakes, biscuits, toast, and more. Seriously, it was a feast that could easily feed 3 people. But with Dr. Now waiting in the wings, how would this affect her upcoming meeting?
And we never had a lot of money, but we were happy.
My dad was the sole provider in the house, so my dad worked all the time. But when he was home, he liked to spoil us. My daddy would have snacks in his room, and he'd have his Cokes and his cakes. And I remember he would bring me in there and let me pick whatever I wanted. I'd eat some of Daddy's cakes and drink some of Daddy's Coke and ice cream. So I started loving sweets.
Determined to turn her life around, Linnea traveled to Houston to seek help from Dr. Now. Upon reviewing her records, Dr. Now was shocked to find that she had gained nearly 150 pounds since their last encounter 5 years ago. His advice was blunt and to the point. You don't have time now to waste. He even urged her to ditch the motorized wheelchair, but Linnea countered with excuses about her eating habits, supposedly on another doctor's advice. Dr. Now was not buying it.
For my last appointment, I got a call from Dr. Now's office telling me he wanted to do a video call with me. So that's happening today. And I'm not really looking forward to having him see me because I'm just not feeling great about where I'm at. Times have been a little tough because Kendon has been struggling with her health and having a tough time breathing. So we've been getting her treated for that and taking her to the doctor. And it hurts my heart to see her like that. And I know she got those problems from me. So I hope Dr. Now is understanding of the situation I've been in and that I've just been struggling.
Dr. Now's patience began to wear thin, especially after hearing her excuses. His response: "You have eaten the food that belonged to the next 4 years ahead of time. So if you don't eat, you're gonna be all right." Despite this savage reality check, Linnea struggled to stick to the diet plan, often complaining that the meal plan was comparable to dog food. Her resistance to change was clearly visible.
I've been thinking that it was going to be the weight loss surgery, but it turns out it's a journey just to get to that part.
All right, just give me all you got. You ready? Get it. Go. Come on.
My last weight loss on the work scale was 7 pounds. So that's better, but it's still not enough. So that's where Frank comes in. And I think this is really going to help having him work me out in a safe and comfortable environment.
The complications increased after she underwent breast reduction surgery, leading to major health issues and a prescription for steroid medication, which further complicated her situation. During the show, she joined Dr. Now's program and was motivated to follow a 1,200-calorie diet, exercise, and bring her weight down to under 200 pounds. However, her duties as a mother made her miss multiple appointments, and she didn't achieve her goal.
I'm saying that you're eating 4 to 5 times that amount, and you don't realize it. But even if you were just eating 1,200 calories, if you're not losing weight, then eat less. You understand that?
That made better sense because that made it more understandable because you made it to where not everything works for everybody.
Despite her best efforts, Lenithra lost less than 30 pounds by the end of her episode. At her final checkup, she was in disbelief about her weight gain, blaming a supposedly malfunctioning scale. Dr. Now, having exhausted all options, delivered one last dose of his trademark blunt advice, telling her he could no longer help her if she wasn't willing to help herself. He decided not to schedule any more appointments for her, a tough love approach to hopefully spark some self-motivation.
Make sure that I can be off for work, so haven't been able to make it down.
Okay, so even though you haven't made it down here, you still need to work with your diet and keep losing weight. But once again, you don't look like you lost any weight. So is there excuse for that still, that you have too much going on that you have to deal with?
Yes, sir.
So how does having to do all that mean that you can eat healthy?
Because I've been dealing with all the stress that's been going on with me having to still care for my daughter and not really focusing on me trying to lose the weight. My focus just disappeared from the weight loss.